Feet hip width apart, toes pointing forwards. Good. Soften your knees very slightly. So that's just taking them out of that locked position. Soften your knees slightly, and you should feel a little bit of tension go on through your thumbs. Squeeze your bottom and tuck under a little bit. So that's just working on that range of the pelvis there. And tucking under a little bit, you use that lower tummy to scoop and tuck under. I'd like you then to think about bringing your ribs down. So taking a breath in, breathe out and sink the ribs down. Lots of people stand with their ribs flared out like this, thinking that that's a good posture. It's quite good to look at yourself in the mirror as you push the ribs down, just to show that you're not slumping. So just drawing those ribs down here, opening out the front of the chest, broadening the front of the chest. Try to use those shoulder blade muscles here to pull together a little bit, slightly down, and that helps to broaden and open out the front of the chest. Now I want you to think about pushing and dropping the shoulders down. You can also think about pulling your shoulder blades down, tucking them into your back pockets, but we don't have a lot of awareness around our shoulder blades. So just draw the shoulders down, tuck the chin, and lengthen up through the back of the neck. Pull up and lengthen through the back of the neck. Good. So once you've got those postures, postural adjustments, we should say, just thinking about rocking forwards and backwards through the toes, through the heels, through the toes, through the heels. Settle somewhere halfway in between, side to side. Good. And we want to also see if we can settle somewhere halfway in between. Good. And then think about rolling the hips round in a circle, front, side, back. Good. So having awareness of where your weight is. If anyone's worked on one of these Wii balance boards, there's all sorts of exercises that you can do with that, quite old-fashioned now, but we still have ours. I think you can see it there. Good. All right, so settling in the middle, dropping the shoulders, and then I just want us to tuck the chin and lengthen there, stretching the back of the neck, and then looking straight up and dropping the head back. And that should feel like it's stretching through here. Forwards and back. Good. Forwards and back. This can make you feel a little bit dizzy if you've got inner ear problems. Good. Lovely. Settle in the middle again, and then we're turning from side to side. So that's a slightly new one. I want you to think about tucking the chin and lengthening the back of the neck, so you can then turn the head in that good position, and you should feel things slightly creaky and crunchy as you do that. And that's quite normal. Good. While you're doing this, still thinking about the posture that I put you in at the beginning. Tucking the bottom under, keeping the ribs down, keeping the chest open. Good. And then we're going to think about side to side with the head. One side and come back up. Other side and come back up. Why not stretch the arms down by your sides at the same time? See what difference that makes. Pushing that arm down by the side should feel like you get a bit more of a stretch through to the tip of the shoulder. Good. One more each side. Lovely. Recheck your position. Knees slightly soft, bottom tucked under, tummy working. Arms go all the way to the top and back down to your sides again. Up and back down to your sides. Try not to lift those ribs up. So that's where the relevance of those ribs come in. Try and keep the ribs down as you stretch up. You've got to have that connection downwards at the front of the body as you lift the arms up. Good. Couple more. Brilliant. With the arms down by the sides, side and back up. Again, thinking about all of those postural positions. Chin tucked, chest open, trying to slide directly down to the side. Good, keeping the shoulders down, trying to elongate out through that arm as you go. Brilliant. One more each side. Lovely. Hands on your hips, just some squats. Make sure those toes are forwards, knees are forwards. For people with squats, their knees often drop in. I want the knees to come straight forwards. Sitting back into your heels, allow the body to come forwards and then come back up. All the time thinking about the posture. Tighten the thighs on the way back up. Good. Squeeze in your tummy, drop your shoulders. Good. Squeeze your glutes when you come back up. Brilliant. 3 more. Sitting backwards into it. Last one. Nice. So, feet up apart again. I'm going to be lifting this right leg out to the side. There's a few things that we have to do to think about doing that. Take your weight onto your left. Allow that right foot to lift off the floor without hitching up the hip too much. So draw in your tummy and take that leg out to the side. Now that's making me want to overbalance, so I've got to correct. Squeeze and tighten through that standing leg. The other leg comes out to the side. Good. So it might take a couple to get yourself in the right position. 4. We're going to do 10 of these. 5. 6, doesn't take much to make them burn. 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Take the weight onto that right leg. Got to take a second just to squeeze and tighten through that right leg and allow the left leg to be free and then take it out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drawing in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So now we've activated things nicely around there. We're going to do those little single leg squats that we did. What's nice about repeating the same kind of session is that you had a little practice last time, and this time, trust me, you'll be a little bit better. So we're squatting down and stretching forwards. Come back in, squat and reach to the side. Come back in, squat and reach behind you. They are small. You're not trying to reach as far as you can or squat down as far as you can. So wherever feels comfortable, forwards, side, back. I think you could do 5 times round of this. People did 3 on Friday, didn't they? Good. This is number 3. 3rd set. Keep that standing leg knee going forwards. 4. Last one, 5. I set these as a stability exercise after knee surgery or knee problems. So anyone with knee problems out there, this might be the one to do. Okay, other leg. Take the weight onto the right. Squeeze through that side. Bend the knees, reach forwards. Good. Side, back. And you should feel those glutes from the other exercise we did. Off the go. Forwards. Side, back, and again, side, back. 2 more, I think. Do have problems counting reps sometimes. Sets. Last one. Keep breathing. Lovely. So I apologise if you did an extra one there, but it won't do you any harm because probably the second leg you did was the weaker one. Standing to the side, coming up onto your toe on that back leg, straightening both knees, tucking under slightly, hands on the hips, drop that heel down, feel and embrace that stretch, and then come up onto your toes. Good. 2, drop the shoulders, 3, 4, 5, come up through the big toe. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Round to the other side. Up high on that big toe, tuck your bottom under, press down, heel and back up, heel and up. Lily, can you push that door closed for me, sweetie? Got a washing on it, it's a bit loud. Up, soon. Okay. 2 more, I think. 9, 10. Oh, I do find those ones really lovely through the foot and ankle, and they're really nice and strengthening there as well. So I hope you're enjoying this as much as I did. Legs out, toes pointing out, knees pointing out. So the way you point your knees out is to squeeze through your glutes and rotate your knees out. Hands in the hips and drop the shoulders, and then squatting down. Good. Tighten the knees on the way up. Think about that tailbone going straight down to the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. 10. Lovely. Stay at the bottom. Arms in front. Rotate. So the hips stay still. The back rotates. 5, keep the weight a little bit backwards, don't let the knees drop in. 10. Good. We're going to come down with the elbows onto the knees just to feel that stretch and just moving from side to side there. Good. So that should be a nice inner thigh stretch. Taking the weight from side to side. In that position, can you lift and drop the heels? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that was quite hard. Come back up again. Bringing the feet in. The legs straight. So, standing on the end of your mat. Toes pointing forwards. Nice breath before we start. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out, drop your chin and curling down, scooping in your tummy. Good. Let your head hang heavy, let your arms hang heavy. Bend and straighten each knee. Drawing in the lower tummy. Letting your head hang heavy. Good stuff. Okay. Coming forwards onto the hands and knees. And as with the last couple of sessions, I'm going to do a little bit of wrist stretching for you. So I want you to bring the hands just a little bit closer and roll forwards and back. Now then, this is not only stretching through the wrists. In fact, I like to keep them right above, because that will make you work through your abs a little bit. So if you try and keep yourself as stable as you possibly can, good, keeping the elbows straight, draw in through the lower tummy as you come forwards. What you can do is control the amount that you are stretching. Now then, turn your palm, I don't say palms, turn your fingers to point towards you there. Now that is probably enough of a stretch before you start rocking forwards and backwards. But by rocking forwards and backwards, you're getting a bit of movement through there. Anyone experiencing any RSI symptoms, repetitive strain injury around the hand and the elbow, even around the shoulder, these exercises can be quite good for you. So pay attention and maybe repeat them when you're not doing these classes. Fingers to the side and going from side to side. So it's just getting all of those little muscles around the forearm moving and stretching. I remember sitting in a little room when I was doing my physiotherapy degree, trying to learn all the little muscles of the forearm, with tears rolling down my cheeks. Good. And then one at a time, turn the hand around, turn the wrist around. I still have to look them up, but I need to remember which muscles are which in the forearm. Great, and down, and then the other side. But 20 years on, you don't get embarrassed when you have to look something up. I think it looks professional. It's better that than guessing. Good. So that's enough for those hands and wrists. Sit back into your heels and then push forwards and drop the hips down. Sit back into the heels and forwards. Good. Sit back. Always think about these as strengthening exercises, doubling up as strengthening exercises. So instead of just dropping down into the stretch, think about controlling. All you have to do on one of them is overwork the muscles, really squeeze everything to pull yourself through that range, and you work out which muscles are needed. Squeezing in your tummy, squeezing your glutes at this point, letting go of the glutes and draw in the tummy to pull back up. So even something that just looks like a stretching exercise becomes, squeeze the glutes, more of a strengthening thing. Lovely. So onto the hands and knees. Just I can check quite nicely in the video in front of me, but if you do have a mirror, make sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. But sometimes it just takes enough, it's enough to just glance down. I would like you to stretch out your right leg, lift up, then correct your hips and draw in your tummy. Bend and straighten that knee for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, straighten all the way, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Down and in. Correct the shoulders. Make sure you're not dropping down through them. Push up and away and pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Other leg out. Lift. Bend and straighten. Make sure you draw in the tummy. 2, 3, 4. This gets those hamstrings fired. 7, 8, 9, 10. And down. And then one of my favourite ones to get the back moving, stretching out across the body and then out to the side. Great to get the glutes firing as well. 2, allow the back to bend. 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more. Brilliant. Bring the other leg down. So it's that supporting leg that you feel the glute working. And the other one, of course, bring it across. So cross first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. 10. Nice. Good stuff. So coming onto your backs, into your sitting position, heels planted on the floor, up tall, drop those shoulders down. And then with your arms out straight, I just want you curling back as usual and come up tall. Think about scooping in the tummy and then using the back muscles to come back up. Scoop in and come up tall. Good. Dropping those shoulders. Not rolling too far back. Just think about your pelvis sitting there as a full bucket. You're trying to tip as much water out the back of it as you go back. And as you come forward, bring it upright. Or even tip water out of the front. Good. Keep those shoulders down. Just one more. Nice. Coming up, picking those feet up off the floor. We're going to do that rolling exercise. So feet up off the floor, curl the back, roll, control it, come up and hold. Good for 10. 2, come up and hold. Work out what you've got to use in your body to hold this and keep your feet off the floor. 4, 5, 6, 7. It's nice with double mounts. 8, otherwise it's a bit harsh on the back. 9. Keep scooping in your tummy. 10. Nice. Okay, so as we did the other day, onto the elbows here. So this is an interesting position here on the elbows. You don't have to. So if it's a problem on your shoulders, I recognise this could be a little bit of a problem on the shoulders. If you do struggle with it, you can do all the same exercises flat on the floor. What I want you to think about in this position is trying to catch the same position as you would on the floor. So you can rock the pelvis backwards and forwards just as we would normally. And then you can settle with that little arch in the lower back. So you settle, got to kind of pretend a little bit, but just rocking slightly forwards. If you look down, that's where your tummy should look flat. Your ribs are down, you can't really flare them in this position, so that's what's quite nice about it. But what I don't want you to do is collapse into your shoulders. So push up and away out of the shoulders, feet are hip width apart on the floor, tighten through the pelvic floor, tuck the chin and lift one leg to tabletop at a time. There is not so far to go with these lifts to tabletop, as you can see, but you've still got to concentrate on bringing the knee in just above the hip. Brilliant. I think it means you have to work those abs that little bit more, so it's another slightly more challenging exercise that we can do here. Brilliant. Now taking one knee sideways and back up. Try not to let the hips follow. Remember to come up and out. It's quite a nice stretch on the shoulders as well. We don't get into this position enormously. Usually we're forwards with the arms, so it's actually quite nice to have an exercise where you're back a little bit and the chest is open. It's actually quite nice to strengthen the neck as well, because the head is just a little bit back as well, so you're having to use those neck muscles to strengthen slightly. Good. Lovely. Right leg up, right down, left down. So keep scooping in through that lower tummy and keep the ribs down. Good. Might be a little bit easier to do this exercise. It might put you in that position where you can engage those muscles. Good. 2 more. Brilliant. Start with the other leg. It is quite burny on the quads. We have done a little bit of quads work already, but just embrace it. Think about those toned thighs that you'll have. / better thighs to run with, depending on what your aims of all of this is. All goes together in one though. Brilliant. Knees and toes together. Readjust that position a little bit. Come down off the elbows if you need to. Take the knees from side to side. So this is quite nice. You can pick up and roll the hip from side to side. You will also notice that I've got my hands around my hips here. I kind of really tend to use a lot of that tactile feedback personally. Gives me a lot to go with. Picking up the hip, coming over. Stretching the top knee over. It's another way of thinking about it. Good. Draw in the tummy to pull yourself back. Good. One more each side. Lovely. Separate the feet again. See if we can get both legs up to tabletop. Draw in that tummy and stretch a leg out and come back in. Good. Tighten the thighs. Squeeze that thigh. A lot of talk of thighs today, for some reason. Squeeze in your tummy. Push up out of those shoulders. Quite easy by this point to have sunk down. Suddenly, interestingly, that makes that exercise a bit easier. 4 more. Brilliant. Come back down. Good. Give your legs a little shake. Readjust your position, scoop in your tummy, push up out of the shoulders, bring the legs back up again. There's not a lot of break from the legs up on this, unfortunately, because you can't crunch in this position. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. Good. Both legs down. Rock backwards and forwards with that pelvis just to ease things off slightly. And we have one more exercise in this position. Legs up to tabletop. Squeezing your tummy, knees and toes together. Let's just see if we can roll from side to side. This takes quite a lot of control because you're balancing on your elbows and on your sacrum, essentially, and then you're rolling from side to side. So you haven't got a lot of surface area on the floor. Good, so it takes quite a lot of control. You can feel everything shaking very slightly, which is when you know you're having to work things. You can obviously do this with your feet still on the floor or with your back down. 4 more. 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. Legs down. Woo! Good. Coming down onto your backs. Well done. That was a hard little section there. Hope you enjoyed it. So to give that lower half of you a rest, let's do some abs. Hands behind your head, and come into a crunch. And then what we're going to do is stay up in the crunch, but rotate, rotate, rotate. You've got to be a little bit higher than you think you need to be on these crunches. So if you're just head and shoulders off like that, like I often teach you, there's not a lot you can rotate from there, but if you pull that little bit more, still trying to keep that little arch in the back, then it's much better with these ones. We are going to do 20. So squeeze in the pelvic floor, crunch that little bit higher, rotate as far as you can. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, staying up. 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20. Good, good, good. So if you felt quite comfortable with those and that's the level you want to stay at and you felt your thighs on the last few, then stay with that. If these have recovered and you felt that they were relatively easy, do the same with the legs up. Legs up, crunch, hands behind your head, and try and touch the thigh. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Come back down. Well done. They're quite hard, but obviously good for you. Good. Okay, shoulders down away from the ears. Tuck the chin. Squeeze in your tummy. We're going to have the legs up and the arms up, and we're going to do some dead bugs. Left leg up, right arm up, and then sideways with the same pairing. Okay, so other side. Left arm, right leg. Same. Oh my gosh, I've confused myself. Out to the top, out to the side, out stretched, out to the side. Good, I'll let you figure out as you go. Sideways, up, sideways. Good. Don't know why this one's messing with my head a little bit today. Good, keep drawing in the tummy, controlling the movement. Great. Good. The other side. think I might have to get the door. 1 second. You got it? Okay. Hey, Francis. Yes, brilliant. Yes, you can bring it in, Lily. Sorry, if I'm busy. All right, hopefully you had a little break in that time, or maybe you carried on. If you did, well done you. Pull your heels close to your bum. Push your fingertips down towards your toes, and that should draw your shoulders down. Tucking under, curling up into that shoulder bridge. Come up to the top. Ribs come down first, and then you peel, peel, peel down. Tuck your bottom under, scoop in your tummy, draw the ribs down all the way to the top, and come back down. Good. Tucking under, curling up. Stay at the top, and I want both knees to go out, back in. 2, 3, 4. Keep squeezing your bum. Keep squeezing your tummy. We can do another 10. 2, 3, 4, 5. How are we doing on time? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Curl back down and pull your knees into your chest. Good work. Okay, so let's turn onto the side. Cool. I want you up on your elbow, knees together, feet together. Push that bottom hip back. Draw in the tummy. And try and just straighten up your body. See the difference here? That's me just slumping down. So I push up out of the elbow and straighten out the body, pushing this top hip away. What I want to do, I'm making a few little adjustments because I'm getting myself ready. So lift, knee, knee, down. Okay, so you've got to kind of find your position. So make sure you make those adjustments too. You need to be a little bit forwards. Lift onto the elbow, knee up, knee down, hips down. So keep squeezing in through here. Lift. Good. So let's make that 3 and we're going to 10. 4, 5, 6. Just stick with the plain clams if this is too much, if you have any shoulder problems. 9, 10. Lovely. So let's have a little rest and we'll do the same again. So like I say, if you have any shoulder problems or if you find that process that little bit too much, just stick with some plain clams here and you can run through a similar kind of routine that I often do on the side. Cool. So make sure that bottom hip's tucked back, tummy tucked in. Let's do another set. Lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. The side. Okay. Onto that elbow. Find your position. Tuck that bottom hip back. Make sure you lift up through here and push that top hip away. The elbow should be underneath the shoulder. Feet together. Lift. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice one. Just have a little rest before we repeat. Good. Those of you who are choosing to do the other clam exercises, keep going. And off we go. One more set of these. Lift. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, nice one. Little hard work today. Sitting up, crossing your legs, coming from side to side. Good. So, a few arm exercises next, and I think they kind of double up as plank exercises since you have to use the rest of your body, especially if you're doing them well. So, we are going to, or I'll give you the different options. You have your box press up here, so that's knees underneath hips. You have your half press up here. You have your full press up. So whichever one you want to use. I am going to choose halfway in between the half press up and the full press up. So this is a 3/4 press up maybe. And we're going to do 10 with one knee down and 10 with the other knee down. Think of them as planks as well. So I want you to really draw in your tummy and be as strong as you can there. So we are going to do 10 on each side and off we go. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 2 more. Nice. Sit back onto your heels and breathe. Good, good. So that was that leg out. We're going to do the other leg stretched out. And actually it would make a difference depending where this knee is, to be honest. So bring the knee closer into the chest if that was too hard. So halfway in between, and I don't know why I'm setting my timer, and off we go, 10. 1, 5 by the charger lily, 6, 7 by the eye bend. Last one. Oh, they were hard. Planks and press ups rolled into one. Nice efficient exercises. Great work. So we are stretching. Pull one knee underneath you. Pull one knee underneath and the foot hooks around. You should be able to see that it's not here. It's scooched round like that. And just stay there and stretch a little. Good. If you think these Pilates classes are getting harder as we go along, they are. But I hope you're all progressing with me. I'd like to think a lot of you here are people that have stayed throughout, and it's nice to keep pushing people on. Good, let's swap sides. Great, sinking down into it. That should feel like a stretch of the glute, but also stretch up the top of the back of the hamstring as well, which is quite useful. All right. Okay, so stretching one leg up in front. Now this is just making me think of a TikTok video that my dad sent me yesterday. Tuck your bottom under and lunge forward. I don't have TikTok, but they send me them. They obviously do. And apparently this is the best exercise for back pain. So this person said on there, so people are using it in a professional sense as well, which makes me think I should. And it was to pick up that back foot, which I do occasionally, but it's not so nice on that back knee, by the way. Tuck your bottom under, have something to hold on to next to you if you want to join in with this picking up of the back foot. But be careful of that knee. It does feel a bit uncomfortable on the floor, and I do have 2 layers of mats here, by the way. But if you've got a carpet, it'll feel better. Okay, other side. Just stick with the traditional tuck under and lean slightly forwards into it otherwise. Pick up that back foot if you want to. If your hamstrings are prone to cramping as well, that could be when the hamstring would cramp. I do have a lovely table here next to me, which I do appear to be lounging onto. Never mind fingertips, put your whole arm on it. Good stuff. And then we'll do each of the hamstrings one at a time, so you can just stretch that one forwards. And as I often like, is a point and flex of that foot. Now this is good for back pain. Did I say back foot or meant front foot? Lovely. Bring that leg back, stick the other one forwards, pull up your heel, point and flex. 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. Lovely. If we come forwards, I've talked quite a lot about those thighs today. So if we can stretch them out, that would be nice. Bending that knee, pulling towards your bum, tucking under. So that heel should be quite close to your bottom. If anyone's heels are around there and they're struggling to get hold of them, this is something definitely to work on. Good. Can be really instrumental with getting rid of back pain, or instrumental for, I think the sentence would be. Good. Making sure you're tucking your bottom under a little bit, keeping the knee fairly close, but it doesn't have to be pinned to the other one. Great. Other side, stretching back, bottom tucked under. Nice. So it should be stretching through that thigh. Make sure you get enough stretching in at home. It's really important. It can certainly be done while you're watching TV. It doesn't have to be a focused, boring session. It can just be, get the mat out when you're watching TV. Good. Turn onto your side. Knees together. So assuming that same kind of position as we get into for the clam exercise, try and tuck that underneath. Both hands together, head comes down to the floor, put a pillow in or just roll your mats up so there's a little bit of height there if you want to. And breathe in as the arm comes up, breathe out as it comes over. I'm just going to come a little bit forwards. Good, breathe out as it comes behind you. Now if you don't have enough room like me, breathe in, breathe out and drop the elbow. Good. Nice, so you're breathing in as the arm comes up, breathe out as it goes over, like you're wringing out those lungs. 2 more, and out. Good, and again, breathing in, and out. Now just roll over to the other side if you want to. I'll scoot around. Hands out in front of you. Good, head down to the floor or prop it up on something. Draw in the tummy, have your legs as if you're going to do those clam exercises and breathe in and breathe out. Good. And again, breathing in as you lift, breathe out and over. Can't remember how many I did on the other side actually, 3. It was a good 5. Great. 1 more. Lovely. Okay, on to hands and knees. Just a quick downward dog to finish off. Turn your toes under, pushing up and then down into the heels. Try and broaden the chest at the back. Good. Bend and straighten each knee, stretching those calves, purposefully pushing the heel down into the floor. Lovely. Walk your hands to your feet. Hang there. Feel that stretch, even a tiny bounce into it. Cannot hurt unless it hurts your back. And peel back up. Lovely. So well done. Another session under your belt.